are using different niches, but we have a common goal. Without our safety, we can't even function, we can't even live in our house. So that's why we're here. So now I'm going to give the mic to Jessica and then have her introduce herself, and then we get on it.
Oh, it's working. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Martinez, and I'm, as Eric stated, City Council member for the City of Whittier. And I really would like to thank Eric for inviting me to be here. Very briefly, I want to just go over some of the things that have happened to us as a result of DA Gascon being in charge of our law enforcement here. Prosecutors are prohibited from requesting bail in most cases, including child abuse, domestic abuse, regardless of criminal history. There are 13 crimes you can commit in Los Angeles. The LA County District Attorney's Office no longer prosecutes trespassing, criminal threats, resisting arrest, disturbing the peace, driving without a license, driving on a suspended license, drug and paraphernalia possession, minor in possession of alcohol, drinking in public under the influence of a controlled substance, public intoxication, loitering to commit prostitution. All of those things are crimes that in the past kept our community safe. They kept crime off the streets. They kept our children safe from people who might abuse them, just all kinds of different things. So in the city of Whittier, we're very fortunate. We have our own local police department, and they enforce our laws. And a few years ago, when the homelessness crisis was basically at an all-time high, we had people camping out in front of our city hall, and largely they were people who wanted to attract attention and create a huge public scene for the news and get themselves in the news. And so as a city council, what we did is we acted rather aggressively towards the homelessness problem, because of course when you have to deal with it across the street from your home, it's an issue. Right, you worry about, is your home going to be safe? Are your children going to be safe? Is it okay for me to leave the house and hopefully I won't get attacked? Or can I leave my car parked out front and it won't be broken into? And you know, I'm sure a lot of you have seen how your neighbors, maybe, their cars have been broken into, right? You've seen smash and grabs in streets. You've seen a lot of shoplifting possibly going on. Maybe you're a business owner. Maybe your business has been shoplifted from, in a serial manner, and there are no repercussions, it seems, for the people who are committing these crimes. You know, just yesterday, as a matter of fact, my husband, I didn't cook yesterday. Don't tell anybody, but I didn't cook. So my husband went out to grab pizza, and when he went out to grab pizza, there was a homeless person who was out in front of the pizza shop and said, "I want some of your pizza. You better give me some of your pizza." And my husband looked at him like, "Are you crazy?" So he went in and he grabbed the pizza, and when he got out, the man was demanding a slice of our family pizza. And it's not even, "Can I please have a slice? I'm hungry." No, it's a demand. And I'm sorry, that is not the type of community that I want to live in. I believe when a person's homeless and they need help, we should try to help them. That's the Christian thing to do. And so in the city of Whittier, what we've done is we actually established a community homeless shelter. And we partnered with the Salvation Army. And so they run a program that's not just to take people and give them housing, it's also to help them to turn around their lives. You know, we give them job training, maybe substance abuse, counseling, just all of the services that they may need, job help, just all kinds of different services. And so we've been able to cut down our homelessness in our community by over 50%. And so it's much more rare that we see people that are out there on the street homeless. However, because of DA Gascon, we have seen rises in smash and grabs. We've seen people's cars being broken into. What is it? The catalytic converters that are being stolen in the middle of the night. Cars broken into. Just those types of things that seem to be happening on a much more frequent basis. And it's usually by the same group of people, right? They continue to do it over and over and over again, and they're not going to jail. That's the problem. So something needs to be done. We really need to start securing our communities. We have police forces, but when they arrest people or charge them or give them a ticket, and then they just continue to go out and do the same thing over and over again, it's not helping our communities or our families. And I am so happy to be here today because I understand what your organization did. You actually took a very proactive step. You partnered with the Sheriff's Department and you created a program. There was a unity involvement, a community involvement, where you said, we have a problem, let's solve it together. And your crime rate went down, right? So I want to encourage you all, very quickly, don't let crime take over your city. Fight back. If you have bad legislators, if you have bad officials who are giving you, passing down policies that aren't good for you or for your communities, fight back. Go to the school board meetings. Go to the supervisors, the LA County supervisors meeting, and talk. Tell them what's going on in your community during public comments, because they don't like to hear about it from the public, during public comments. So do that. Make yourselves be heard. Thank you.
But I think later on, if you talk in the school board meetings, that may be considered crime. There's a bill in the state capitol, I believe it's Senate Bill 596, if I'm correct, is that if you do any kind of disruption, if they see that as a disruption, they can actually fine you to be a misdemeanor. I believe the fine is $500 to $1,600, and then you may be jailed for a period of time. So that's kind of crazy, but that's something we will talk about later. But Jonathan, tell us, what have you been doing and how, what you did, and then how you would do to help us on crime.
Thank you, Eric. I want to thank Eric for inviting me here and for having this forum. Good evening. Thank you all for having me as well. My name is Jonathan Hatami. I'm a 17-year veteran of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Currently, I'm in the Complex Child Abuse Unit. I have 17 active child murder cases which are assigned to me. I've handled thousands of cases, child sexual abuse, child physical abuse. I've done hate crimes, elder abuse, domestic violence, many crimes involving vulnerable victims. I want to let you all know something which is important. Even in this room, you have at least one person that I know, if not more, who have lost a loved one to a really serious crime, to murder. So we all need to come together and support our victims and support their families. Just recently we had a deputy, my wife is a police officer, she's a 16-year veteran of the Sheriff's Department. Recently we had a deputy in Palmdale who was brutally killed. And so we need to come together and not only support our victims, we need to support our police as well. Police officers like my wife, she's the mother of my children. I want her to come home safe. And we want our police officers to be safe and to feel like they're wanted and needed in the community. And that's a part of all of us. And something Eric said is really important. Eric and I, we are in different political parties. But we have a lot of very similar ideas. Same with Jessica and I. Both Jessica and Eric are two really good people. I've talked to them, I know them. They care about the community. They care about families. They care about the children in the community. I fight for children. I've been doing that for 17 years in the DA's office. Before that, I was in the Army for 7 years. I've been fighting for my community for a long time. And so I like to partner and get together with people from all different sides, especially if they care about public safety. All of you, no matter what your political party, you deserve to be safe. Your home deserves to be safe. You deserve to walk down the street and not be harassed. You deserve to wear a watch or jewelry and not get attacked. You deserve to walk your dog and not get attacked. You deserve to walk your child to school and not have to walk over needles or drugs or people wanting to hurt you.
Yeah.
That you deserve those freedoms. Do you know what crime does? It prevents you from having freedoms. It makes you scared to go out of your house. It makes you scared to go to the store. It makes you scared to walk your dog. It makes you scared to go to the supermarket. People don't even want to go to the mall anymore because they're afraid that what's going to happen is as soon as they go there, there's going to be a mob-style smash and grab burglary, and then all of a sudden you or your kids could get hurt. Your freedoms are getting violated. And so something people tell me is, Eric said, what can we do as a community? Vote. That's one thing you can do is vote. There's so many people that ballot gets sent, now we got ballots sent to everybody's home. We just got to deal with that, but we have that. So ballots get sent to your home. Don't let it sit there on the counter and forget about it. You need to get up and actively vote. And don't just vote for somebody for a specific political party. Vote for somebody who's willing to do the right thing. Somebody who's willing actually to do the right thing. We have too many people in politics that are beholden to special interests. I'm beholden to one person. That's you, all of you. And you want more politicians like that, who are beholden to the actual people that they're supposed to serve. Jessica talked about things. We have so many crimes that they're not prosecuting right now. Resisting arrest, disturbing the peace, public drunkenness, indecent exposure, trespassing. We have so many business owners, especially many business owners who are immigrants, who are now getting attacked constantly. Their customers are getting attacked. Their employees are getting attacked. Do you know we constantly have hate crimes against the AAPI community? Do you know that George Gascon, when he first took office, he got rid of hate crimes? For the first month, we couldn't even charge hate crimes because he got rid of hate crimes. He brought it back because everybody got upset about it. But what does that tell you about somebody who has 8 years of experience as a DA, 30 years he was a police officer here in Los Angeles, and the first thing he does when he takes office is get rid of hate crimes? What does that say about him? What does that say about what he thinks about this community? So let me talk to you a little bit about homeless. People always say to me, hey, John, homeless isn't a crime. So my response to that is, you're right. Being homeless isn't a crime. But committing indecent exposure, if you're homeless or not, is a crime. Committing trespass, if you're homeless or not, is a crime. Urinating or defecating on the metro or in public or in front of a business, if you're homeless or if you're not homeless, is a crime. Committing criminal threats, if you're homeless or if you're not homeless, is a crime. So remember, no matter what your status is as far as if you have a home or if you don't, a crime is still a crime. It doesn't matter what your condition is. Now, I'm a Christian, so I believe in helping people. I believe in mercy. But before we have mercy, we must have justice. And what that means is you have to hold people accountable and responsible for their crimes. Anybody who has children knows that you have to make sure that they're held accountable and responsible for their crimes as well. And right now, we have many leaders who aren't doing that. We also have many leaders who seem to be doing things against what we believe. Parents have a right to teach their children morality. I didn't make a decision to have children and have some sort of agreement with the government that they're going to control my children. I want them to be taught English, math, science, social studies at school, but I get to teach them what my morality is, whatever that is, because I'm their parent. And I think most people believe that. I don't believe in taking away parents' rights to be able to parent their children. That's not fair, and it's not something that I think people agree with it. So what Eric said is this: you get to pick all your legislators, who they are. And we have a lot of legislators in Sacramento who seem to be doing things that most of us, like I could tell you, the Persian community, the Armenian community, the Latino community, we're not good with that. Our children are very, very important to us, and we believe that we need to look out for them. Same with the AAPI community. Your children are important. You need to be responsible for that. But as far as public safety goes, we all deserve public safety. We all deserve to be looked after. The DA's #1 job is public safety. And right now, he's failing to do that. Thousands of cases in Whittier haven't been filed. Thousands of cases in Santa Clarita haven't been filed. Thousands of cases all over LA County haven't been filed. We have smash and grab burglaries. We have follow home robberies. They happen every day, all the time. And now we have the zero bail issue, which is going to be a very, very serious issue that we have to look at and really, really have to consider. So when you make sure you vote for good legislators, vote for a good DA, vote for good people in city council. People are looking out for you. I do want to let you know, as far as your community is concerned, I will always stand with your community, with the AAPI community. I will always fight for you, and I will always fight for your children. Thank you so much.
Let me just give you a little bit more background here. Jonathan and I, we actually bump into each other in many occasions. In fact, probably over a year and a half ago, when we had our community safety event in Walnut, not only we had FBI, but also from the county as well. So I want to thank you for working with us, on safety. It sounded to me is if one day you become the DA, and then you're going to be using that prosecution to take care of some of that issue. That's
Yes.
yeah.
No, definitely. Prosecutors prosecute. That's what we do. People try to redefine what people's jobs are, but prosecutors prosecute crime. That's what we do. We make sure that the public is safe, and we make sure that victims are fought for, and we make sure we get justice for them, and we make sure people who commit crimes don't get out and victimize somebody else. And so that's the job of a prosecutor. That's what we do. And right now we have somebody who has redefined what a prosecutor is. He doesn't understand what it means to be a district attorney. And so everybody has a lane, and he's not doing his lane. And what happens is all of you end up suffering for that. All the community ends up suffering for that. And so we have to empower ourselves. We have to take back our community. And we have to say that we need more people out there actually fighting for actual people and making sure that our community is safe. This is our county. I'm not leaving. My father immigrated here. This is my home. I'm raising my children here. My wife works here. I work here. I'm not leaving. So I'm going to stay, and I'm going to fight, and I hope all of you do the same.
All right. So now I'm going to give it to David, who not only is an attorney, but I think he's involved in community events, for many, perhaps a couple of decades, if not longer. So if you can share your experience and your thoughts on how we address these issues.
Yeah. Talking about the home key project, in May, in Hacienda Heights, we get a notice that there will be a hearing about the home key project. Motel 6 converting to permanent housing, but nobody get informed. Then we researched. They say during COVID-19 period, it's an emergency, so they have a room key project to protect homeless people. Get them together, it's easier to protect them. Yeah, it's in fact did some job, but it's status of emergency. Federal government, state of California announced emergency status, so we take a shortcut. But right now, it's no more time. Why we rush to build permanent housing without solid business plan? Right now, Motel 6, close to Palm Elementary School, and 7 or 8 other schools, but they don't have any conclusion how to protect the safety of school. And it close to freeway entrance, only 100 feet away. I don't know how they can believe the homeless people living in the Motel 6 will not walk to the freeway. If they walk to the freeway, what kind of damage it will cause? There's no calculation about this. So it's really a disaster of Eastern Gable Valley. The cities alongside with Freeway 60 is a dynamite, but they don't care about that. They say, since it's a home key project, they don't need environmental report. They don't need traffic report. We know commercial development, there's two key elements. You must satisfy these two elements before you can build. But they waive this program. And the other issue, usually we do any commercial, you want to get a permit, you need to get a public hearing. But they waive public hearing. In other words, as long as county has the fund, they can purchase any project and convert it to permanent housing. So that's dangerous to the community. So that's why we want to fight against it. Yeah, because if you want to build a permanent housing, you want to protect homeless people. What about the balance test? The safety of the whole resident of Hacienda Heights. Why don't you take care of them? It's the balance test. In the United States, everything has a general rule and everything has an exception. If we cannot protect the regular person, it's not a democracy. We purchased this land. We own the right to quietly enjoy in our land, but not right now. There are so many homeless people in the neighborhood. Nobody dare to walk after evening. So that's the key issue we need to think. Why home key project? You don't build it in commercial area. You can build it in a house, office building. You can build it in the shopping center. You can build it in warehouse. Why you choose residential area? If you don't have a solid business plan, just get an expert to do that before you try to get a permit. They say the permit will start and they will construction in July. But not till right now, they didn't get a permit yet. So that's the issue we really care about. The community safety and the school safety. Those two issues, the residents of Hacienda Heights, they all care about. Every politician, they say community safety. But who's destroying the community safety? We want to ask them. We want they give an answer to this. And too close to school. We want them to have a better funding to school, to police office, to police enforcement. Let them to purchase car and personnel. We know Hacienda Heights, we only have 2 police cars. What about other cities? Easterville have 15 police cars. We only have 2 police cars. If you call 911, the police won't come that fast. Because they don't have personnel. The developer walks, say, you just call 911, but they don't come. Why Hacienda Heights residents should suffer that much to comfort the homeless people? We should use the same standard. We care about them. we care about the residents of Hacienda Heights too. So that's the issue we need to consider. Just like Jonathan just mentioned, we need to vote. Everybody need to vote. And we need our friends, our classmates, our neighbors to vote. That's to get back our community. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to tell you, at least a good news for our city. I work for people in Walnut for now over 11 years. This morning, I received the city manager's report. Crime in Walnut actually is down 15.6%. So, and in Walnut, if you drive over, you probably don't see any homeless. Because as a city, we have our own resources we can direct to what needs to be done. But Mr. Kwong has a lot of influence in that, and also a contribution in that, because TACF actually has about more than half a dozen volunteers join our station to patrol, not only in Walnut but surrounding areas. So I want you to share a little bit, and then why do you want to do this, and then what have you done to make our community safer, please?
Thanks, Eric, for inviting me for this meeting, and I also want to thank Jonathan for your service to the country. I'm very honored to be here speaking to the people of the House of the Lord, the residents of Hacienda Heights, and people from other communities. My name is Nee Khan. I'm the third-term president of TACF, which is a non-profit organization founded in March of 2021 in the midst of the pandemic. And at the time, the crime rate was rampant throughout the city, Asian crime happening everywhere, and you watch the news, that's what you see. And our founder was saying that we need to do something. We need to do something to fight back, to take back the community. So a group of us in somebody's garage, 30 of us talking about how to do this. And from this simple, humble beginning, we formed the TACF, which is Together Against Crime Foundation. And like Eric was saying, that we will, by year end, I think we were reaching about 800 member followers in our line group. And we are very happy and feel rewarded by the support from the community. TACF lives and breathes in the community. Whatever we do has something to do with the community. In terms of safety, this is our major focus. We are the bridge between the residents and the law enforcement agency. And we also the bridge between government official and the residents. So we serve both sides. We communicate on both sides. And I know that in the Chinese community especially, the people are maybe due to their background, cultural background, or due to their beliefs in the old ways. They are scared of the police. They are afraid to confront them, or maybe there's a language barrier involved. They do not want to report. And we strongly, if we know something, we strongly encourage them to report the crime. Because if you don't report, the sheriff station have no data with your community. So to them, everything is fine here, but it's not. So I talked to some neighbor that was saying that, oh yeah, my neighbor got 4 tires stolen last night. So, but he said, I'll just buy a new one. But I said, did you report? No, I don't want to report. So you have to report, because if you don't report, the next time it will be your car, because they will be coming back for more, right? So not only you want to help yourself, help the community, you need to report. So that's what we encourage them to do. TACF, working very closely with the law enforcement agency, we joined the VOP program, which is Volunteers on Patrol, with the Walnut and Diamond Bar Station. specially trained by the sheriff. We went to East LA for 12 weeks training, came back, and then we started, put on the full uniform, drive the patrol car around the city, and look at vacation homes, make sure that they are safe and secure. We drove around the city, community, to let the bad guys know that we are around, we are in the area. So hopefully this is a deterrent for them. Don't come here because we are watching our community. And I hope that more people will do that and join us to do this. I noticed that in Hacienda Heights, people come to me and say, there's a homeless woman parked in front of my store, affecting the neighborhood, the businesses. And so I contacted the industry station. We have good friends over there. And we want them to come out and address the issue. And they come out and talk to the homeless lady, and maybe can offer county services to her and move her away from the business center. So that's one thing we do. And also we hear about senior center, at night there were homeless people, come into their compound and use their swimming pool, use their shower facilities. That's scary. And the people are afraid to walk around in their compound, at night. And that's not right. Because like David was saying, we are here in search of our American dreams, right? We should be enjoying this and not affected by unlawfulness. So we can help report this to the station. We can draft, complaint letters to the owner. We can do all that. But the key thing is the community has to stand up, step up, unite and fight together. Because one voice is not enough. We are not like the old ways, in your home country, where you just say, okay, this is something, I'll just pay for it. No. You are in America now, and you have to fight the American way. You have to stand up, step up, and do and fight together with the whole community roused up for one common good. They will listen. The bad guy will see it. The law enforcement will help us, and the politician will pay attention because everybody is speaking up. They will listen. So, and now I happen to look at the news. Every night we see that Philadelphia have been rioting and looting for 2 nights now in a row. Apple store was just wiped out, and the police just cannot do anything. Why? I mean, you are allowing the criminals just going wild in Oakland, and you have businesses closing. They say, I cannot do business here. I just cannot do it. In San Francisco, you got Whole Foods, Walgreens, CVS, they are closing store because it's just too much to fight this. The losses are into the millions. So we cannot continue like this because the stores are leaving us. That means it affects us, the law-abiding citizen. And so we need to correct that. So how do we correct that? Well, next year, critical year, 2024. It's the election year. Everybody here is saying, we got to vote because that's the only thing you can do to change the situation. If you just keep quiet, just take care of your family and your household, send your kids to the best school in the state, that's not enough. That's not enough. In America nowadays, we need to unite together and fight a common cause, which is to turn this thing around, save our community, return the safety to the community. So TSCA work very closely with the law enforcement people because we rely on them. We have very good relationship with them. And I live in Walnut for 30 plus years. I have never seen a cop. I've never known a cop. Now we've got so many friends in there that we know. And so that's very rewarding. We talk about reward. as a personal reward for me. I even stopped by a cop before, but now, there are so many friends. So I see them patrol my area, I wave at them. They probably don't recognize me, but I enjoy my friendship with them. And because it is important, just a personal story. Nights ago, my wife and I were in St. Gabriel. She wanted to go to 99 Ranch Market to buy something. So we pull into the parking lot, park the car, and turn off the engine. We saw across from us, there was a car, 2 guys in there. And I tell you, 5 years ago, we would probably just ignore this. We don't have to pay attention to this. But 2 nights ago, we would look at these 2 guys, they're sitting in the car and engine was off, and there was a lot of parking along behind him, but nobody's parking there. So I turned around and asked my wife, you really need to go to 99 Ranch tonight. I don't think we should go, because I don't want to go in there, come out, and then my car is broken into and all that. So we shouldn't be living like this. We should change this. The way to change it is vote. So next year, we are going to study all the people, all the propositions and measures, and we will give educational talk to our voters. I think we need to educate them, encourage them to vote, help them to vote, and vote for the right person, vote for the right measure and proposition. Thank you.
You actually answer many of the questions they have. How do you change things? By getting involved, by making noise, right? Even a handful of you can make a lot of noise. Let me share a story that was shared to me by a reporter. Many years ago, there was a person running for Secretary of State. And, somebody gave her an idea, they were talking about toilets or plumbing or things like that. So she brought toilet in front of in Sacramento, in front of the stairway, and all the news station heard about that, and boom, and then made a very big news. Just like that, she got elected. So, the problem we have right now is that you need to make your voice heard, right? Just like you said, get involved. And let me tell you, in Walnut, there's another thing. We have a high-tech camera system. You can have it here as well. By telling the people in charge, we need that resource. In fact, that camera system is cheaper than hire one sheriff or hire one police. The whole system depends on how many cameras you have. If a criminal drive to our city, that license plate is connected with the National Crime Database. We will know about it in 3 seconds. In 10 seconds, that information will be sent to every patrol car on the street. So career criminals, when they drive through the city of Walnut, they say, well, they're watching me, I better not do it. Or even that system can be used for finding a missing person if a person is somewhere in the camera. I think yesterday there was a missing person, right? Mm-hmm. If the camera catch that person and then it's in the system, we'll be able to find whatever it is or where that person is. So things like that, will be very helpful. So now we're going to turn the microphone to you. You can ask any questions. We can be as specific as you want.
So before that, I want to add one more point. In year 1, TACF was able to work with the county supervisor and ask them to fund some high definition surveillance camera along Kalima. And we were successful in doing that. So that was the biggest accomplishment for us in year 1. We have installed 44 high definition cameras along Colima between Azusa and Fairway. So when you come into the city and commit crimes, most of the businesses are on Colima. So our slogan is, don't mess with us, you're on candid camera. So anyway, it was very successful, and a couple of months ago I heard our sheriff station VOP, the Volunteers of Patrol meeting, the captain was telling us that they were able to crack 25 cases out of 30 crimes along Colima using those cameras. So that was very rewarding for us.
So please, anyone want to ask any specific question? Mike, you can ask anybody you want on stage.
This is more of a general question. At that home key facility, when it was room key, they were not screening any of the people that they placed there. And for domestic violence, there are often court orders that require that those two people be kept away from each other, right? And they weren't checking for anything. And when I complained to the supervisor's office that I had concerns, that I had seen an LAPD patrol car pull up at the 7th Street Motel, dropping off a person from Los Angeles, when we had been told it would be used only for homeless people at risk in our area from getting COVID, and only for 3 months. So here we are 3 years later, now they're making it permanent, which I object to. But because they weren't checking anything, when I asked them why, do they have sex offenders? When they pick people up that are transient in other areas and bring them over here, do they check their probation status? Do they notify their probation officer that they've moved them from where the probation knows where they're homeless to a home key facility clear across the county? Does anybody get notified? And they told me that there was a law passed in Sacramento. When I say they, I'm talking about Supervisor Hahn's office. They were saying that there was a law passed in Sacramento that prohibits them from checking the criminal background or criminal status of anybody placed in this homeless type of residential facility. And I thought that was absurd. And of course, it very quickly became absurd because two people that were housed there were apparently not compatible. Whether they had a domestic violence issue prior to that, I'm not sure, because they don't check and they wouldn't tell me anyway. They got into a fight. Law enforcement was called. A female deputy came out to the facility to try and resolve the matter. It got worse. They attacked the deputy. I don't know how they did this, but they caught the curtains on fire in the room. Now you have a fire, you have a deputy being attacked, you've got cops, helicopters, fire department, everything coming from all over everywhere. And this is a residential community. And I would like to know, since I couldn't find it, what law that was that passed that says they're not allowed to check the background or ask any questions about that. And so if anybody could find that answer or point me in the right direction, I would like some help with that to see, because I'd like to be able to use it against the county as the example about why you can't put this in our residential neighborhood. Thank you.
So there's laws, new laws regarding employers being able to access the criminal record of employees. But there's no law saying that the police can't check somebody's record. There's no law saying that the county can't do that as well. So I've never heard of law enforcement not being able to check someone's record. If somebody's on probation or parole and you move them, by law you have to notify their probation officer or their parole officer. There's no law saying that you're not supposed to do that. They're actually not supposed to move people on probation or parole from one place to the other without first notifying their probation officer or parole officer and let them know and make sure that they're suitable to be going into that other area. People who have active restraining orders or protective orders, there's no law saying that you don't get to know who those individuals are. That's documented, it's registered, and so you know people who have protective orders and who don't, and the police know that. And so if they're putting people together where there's protective orders, that's a dangerous situation as well. So I don't know of any law that the supervisor is talking about that doesn't allow law enforcement or the county to get that information. We're allowed to have that information. The DA's office can get that information. So I think most of the time with leaders, they call themselves leaders. I think a lot of times they say they can't do things when they really actually can. And I think a lot of times they just pass the buck. They don't want to answer those tough questions. They don't want to have to be responsible for what you just said. Just like what was talked about. They ended up making decisions without proper planning. And so they make these decisions without proper planning, and then it ends up negatively affecting the entire community. And now Hacienda Heights has to pay for these bad decisions when they're not involving the entire community in making those decisions. Big decisions, you should collaborate with others. And so you have to meet with people in the community who have a stake in what's going to happen. And so people who live here, people who are parents, people who are business owners, people who are community leaders, they have to be met with and talked to before you make these very, very big decisions. And what happens is a lot of times the county just runs over all that and just does what they want to do. And so, like we've said, you have to vote these people out. You need to say that these individuals don't have your best interests at heart, and you need to vote them out. Because they are acting more like dictators than they are acting like we are in this country, which is a democracy, which is involving everybody else. So I think that instead of addressing the problem that they made a mistake, they want to pass the buck. And that's another good thing about a leader. Own up to your mistakes. That's okay. I'm a Christian, so I believe people make mistakes. That happens. But what sets you apart is saying, hey, I made a mistake. That wasn't a good idea. I'm sorry that I did that. I'm going to be better, and this is what I'm going to do from now on. And so I think there's been a lot of mistakes made as a result of moving individuals, of not back-checking individuals. You don't want to move somebody close to a school that's a registered sex offender. So if they're trying to tell you that they don't know that, that's not true at all. Because that would be illegal to place somebody who's a registered sex offender by a school, because that's dangerous. And why is it dangerous? Because kids are there. And why is that dangerous? Children are vulnerable. So children are vulnerable, the elderly are vulnerable. Vulnerable victims we have to make sure that we protect, because many times they can't protect themselves, so we have to do that. And so if they're trying to say they don't know that information, they do. The only laws I know that are new is employers, which is pretty tough now for business owners. You can't check to see if your employees are felons. To me, that doesn't make any sense, because if you're working with money, you wouldn't want to hire somebody who's a thief or who has prior theft, unless you actually really know that. Talk to this person and say, hey, are you rehabilitated? Have you been better? But you should be able to make that choice, and it should be an informed choice. They're taking away that. And so it's sad for businesses, because businesses should be able to choose who they hire. I mean, that's the way we do things. And so, yeah, I don't know of any law that says what you're mentioning, and all your points are right on. Those are points that are valid. We need to make sure that all those things are looked after. Plus, moving people from one area to the other, that's unfair. But that's the problem with Los Angeles, because when you go to Orange County, when you go to Ventura County, when you go to these other places, that isn't happening. There is no zero bail in Ventura County or Orange County like we have, that is going to be inputted here on October the 1st. And so, we seem to not do a lot of things. Just like the city of LA seems to not enforce a lot of rules, whereas like Walnut and other places are enforcing some of these rules. Why is that? Because the leaders in those areas have taken ownership and say, hey, we need to enforce public safety. We need to make sure that we're safe. Whereas some of the places, it seems like they're allowing certain people's freedoms to violate other people's freedoms. And that's the problem, is nobody's freedoms trump or violate other people's freedoms. And that's what they're doing.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. When I mentioned that the city of Whittier, we put in our own resource or navigation center for the homeless. We were able to take control over our homeless population. They were not like, I guess, the Project Room Key, free to just, come and go as they please, to roam around the neighborhood or wherever it was that they're placed. And they also have to abide by certain restrictions They can't use drugs or alcohol while they're there in that particular shelter. And they're in a kind of a confined sort of a space, and they're given the ability to try to come up from being homeless, you know, to stop the drug addiction or the alcoholism. And so this project Room Key is, well, let me just say this, giving housing to someone who's a homeless person does not stop the problem. They're usually homeless because there's a reason behind it. It's alcoholism, drug addiction, or they have a mental illness, and that's what causes their homeless situation many times. And so what they're doing is they're saying that this is the one-stop solution for homelessness, is providing them a room, and it's not the solution. And so I think, getting back to what you were saying, when the county forces things on their communities without public input to find out what the citizens want, that's basically an abuse of their power. I'll just tell you very briefly what happened in the city of Whittier just recently. We have a county health office, which is close to our city hall, and our county supervisor decided that we needed an LGBTQ center in the city of Whittier. Now, the population of the LGBTQ community in Whittier is about 1%. They didn't ask us, do you want maybe a job training center, or do you want a child resource center, or a facility for children who are disabled? They didn't ask us our opinion. They just decided that this is what you're going to get. And when a group of community leaders, pastors, and others went to meet with the supervisor told them, well, I can do it, so I'm going to do it. Basically, we don't care what you want. You're getting what we say you get.
Jessica,
That is an abuse of power.
office.
What's that?
That used to be my office. That's where I worked, at the county,
Wow.
in that small building in front of the health clinic.
Yes. Well, that's what they're doing, and they're completely refurbishing it, and we have no say in the matter. And there are plenty of other resources for the LGBTQ community, but to take an entire building and to take that away from the community and say, no, this is what you're going to have, I don't think it's right. So you really need to make some hard choices coming up with this next election. We need people who are going to obey the law, who are going to follow the law, to do what they're supposed to do. Like you said, if you're supposed to prosecute the law, then prosecute the law, right? If you're supposed to be responsive to your constituents, then be responsive to your constituents. You don't come in and foist your own morality on them, right? So, thank you.
Okay, I actually spent some time working with different agencies, try to resolve this Project Home Key issue for specifically Hacienda Heights. But this is not a unique issue for Hacienda Heights. As we have more of the homeless population, this will happen in every city, I think. So I reach out to surrounding cities, different officials, non-official, in the official capacity. Hey, are you interested of to work on these? None, not one would join, except for a few of us. So that's to say that yes, whoever making decision on all this, they have a lot of power. But we're not afraid. We're here to resolve issues. Here, let me tell you how to resolve this. This is why when you're talking about these things, there seems to be common sense, right? They should know how to resolve this. But yet Governor Newsom, when he was mayor of San Francisco, he said, we will resolve this in a few years, but look at San Francisco now. And now we have homeless population throughout the whole state. Any big city you go to, you will see them. So I think number one is we should not attract more of them coming in. Number one. Number two is we talk about drug and alcohol addiction. I think if you just have them, concentrated, say 100 of them or 200 of them in the big community, you're going to lose control because they don't have enough personnel to solve that. I think the way to do it is break it down to smaller units. So a few years ago, my partner and I, we actually used our own money We have a few clinics. You know how many years for me to open the first clinic? 2 years for me to get the license. Why should the state make it so difficult for me to open a clinic? I just want to help people. Why does it? Because I think they have no desire that they wanted to resolve this issue. That's why it took me 2 years. This 2 years we had to pay for the rent, right? And we have to pay for all the, things to get the license. We have to pay for a doctor. Because without a doctor, they're not going to give you a license. So they all have to be paid. But once we open, since we only have a few clients, that's manageable. You have up 2 or 3 people, you manage maybe 6 or a dozen people. You can help them to get back to normal. So that's one thing. But most importantly, who's making these decisions? The policymakers. So they're surrounded by interest group or their friends. That's why you hear from Jessica, yeah, we're just going to do this. Who's telling them? Their friends, because they may be getting benefit. So what you ought to do is get involved, call their office, or you constantly there. When they have meeting, you just show up. Hey, when they hear a position, their mind's going to change. Yesterday in my city council meeting, there were maybe about 20 parents. They came in and they spoke on one issue. So we all heard. So wow, it's only 20 people. So get together, do something and don't sit at home. I hope that you will make this video viral. How do you change it? How to resolve the HS issue? If they don't have funding, obviously the fastest way is whatever the decision maker decide not to do this, decide to solve this, boom, I think things can get solved. But meantime, what are you going to do? Make as much noise as you can. Maybe bring it, like I said, I gave you the example, bring some toilet to, or dress up like homeless, camp out outside. I'm being serious. If they say, well, you camping in front of my house, or I saw a video that went viral, that a guy, invited a few people from Home Depot and went to some guy's house because the guy was actually welcome, homeless. Hey, we need more of them. So he brought 3 of them to his house. And like I said, a freak out. So no, not in my house. You cannot come into my backyard. You're not eating my sandwich. That video, I think you probably saw it, that went viral. If you start doing that, you're gonna start to change some minds. Because policymakers, when they face consequences, they're gonna think twice, right? Either vote them out or make noise, make themselves uncomfortable, make them live the decision they make. That's important. So,
yeah, I just want to make one more point. The message from tonight is loud and clear. It is, don't sit home and do nothing. You got to get involved, okay? So one way I can think that to get involved is come out and join us in the VOP program, the Volunteers on Patrol. We have a very successful program running in Walnut Diamond Bar Sheriff Station, and I think we can duplicate that in the industry sheriff station. We have friends over there. In fact, when I recruited last year, I recruited some people out of Hacienda Heights. They came in to train by the Walnut Diamond Bar Sheriff Station. For one reason or another, they didn't stay and they left the program. Some people told me I wanted to patrol Hacienda Heights. You are assigning me to Diamond Bar and Walnut. Okay, so Hacienda Heights is under the jurisdiction of Industry Sheriff Station. We can go back and tap these people and send them over to Industry Station and get trained by them. They already are familiar with the program. They can easily adapt to that. So I would encourage everyone here to join us. I brought some flyers, put it in the back. You can come and pick up one to see what we do for TSCF, and this is what you can do for your own community, for your family, for your next generation, because this is what we live for, right? So the VOP program, you can also contact us if you have any question. Our number is 626-733-8788, or you can visit our website, tacf888.org. So all these are in the flyer. So you can, on your way out, you can pick up the flyer and learn something about us. Thank you.
Go ahead.
She wants to speak.
Yes,
I want to speak.
yes.
Can you put up the website first?
Oh.
Okay, you can go ahead and answer.
Okay,
Okay.
so I know many of you right here, so thank you for hosting this event tonight. And we have been fighting together for the last 2 years for this home key project. And there's one point we talk about the school safety, case safety. And could you believe our Hacienda La Plante school district, a lot of board members support this home key project. They support it. And then we know some of the board member has been to Solly's office. They invite them to the Solly's office and then give them the special presentation. And once they go there and they come back and they tell us the home key project is a beautiful project and ask us don't scare of changes. So that's the board member, our Hacienda Heights school board members told us in the board meetings. This is wrong. This is not right. And last year, we have a workman school. So we have 300 students, but this year we only have 200 students. Where do students go? Goes to Wana. Wana is a really good school right there. People go there and goes to private schools. They move out. We lost like 30% students in our Hacienda Heights. There's real issues here. Why parents and the kids move out? And there's last 2 days ago, we have the school board meetings. And we're talking about these issues right there, right? And then and I point out, okay, so since we decreasing the students, there's possibility they can close down the school. How are they going to sell the school to? Is the government can buy, or the city can buy, or the county can buy the school and convert them to become a home key project? That's the question, because how are we preventing the county to buy more properties and convert it to the home key project? Thank you.
I believe if I understand correctly is that school belongs to state. So it has to be state policies. But the county, they work very closely with state. That's why they were able to push, some of the things that you don't want. But you have a question you want to.
Of course. Hello, my name is Mona. So far, I didn't hear anything good for me. I live in Hacienda Heights over 25 years. Single house, townhouse, apartments. And the 25 years changed a lot. Today I want to mention is the community safety. I believe you need to attention because for the before, the gate is safety guaranteed. But now, it's very, very worse. If the people follow the car coming, if the people climb the gate, and all the people inside is helpless. I met a lot of chance. The people is very bossy. They don't have the pass, but they stay there, waiting for another car, and say, quick. I say, who you are? That's your business. But the following car coming, say, okay, not a big deal. Let him in. Because he stand there. If he don't move, nobody can do. If you are me, what are you doing? Call the police? Fight for him? And I heard a lot of things. People lost a little item, but they think it's minor. I believe you will learn the lesson if the earthquake, if the fire is bomb, a lot of people lost his life in one community. Then you will understand. Even Hacienda Heights, so many community, and you didn't pay a lot of attention to it. You didn't ask the manager to check out everything. For the 30 years, everything changed. You still follow all the rules. And that's for your single house, you never think about it. That's the reason I beat the city of industry, I beat a lot of Los Angeles County. I tell them, I know all the rules. If you give the permit, if not safety enough, construction, 50 years, apply for the motel, and now you want to be the village. Did you check all the materials? You want to put on kitchen. Do you check your utility? It's safety. And if you don't have the entrance, you don't have the elevator, you just have one way in and out. It's totally ridiculous. But you just only know the homeless people. When they violate, nobody can stop. And you put all the community in the very dangers. And you're talking about call you training. It's too late.
So you're the kind of people we want to speak in front of the supervisors or whoever made the decision on this. So, there's already a group organized. Even at their regular meetings, you have rights to speak up. Usually, they will give you a public comment, and during that period, each of you may have a minute to 3 minutes. That's typical. So you're the one who should go there to speak on community's behalf and on your behalf as well. So anybody want to?
I'd like to raise one issue. 2028 is Los Angeles Olympic. Think about it. There are 75,000 homeless people in Los Angeles City and Los Angeles County. In Los Angeles City, around 50,000. In Los Angeles County, around 25,000. At the time before 2028, the 50,000 homeless people will come to Los Angeles County. Where they are going. If we don't have a perfect permanent housing plan, how do we accommodate these people? Each city or community will accommodate 500 homeless people. So it's not Hacienda Heights' issue. It's Los Angeles County's issue. So we must speak out. We must unite and fight for this. Otherwise, Los Angeles will be the second San Francisco.
Good evening. My name is Adriana Quiñones, a resident of Hacienda Heights. I lived in LA City for a while as well, so I'm familiar with the homeless issue. But I think, as I told you earlier today, I'm a conservative Democrat. And I don't vote for Democrats simply because they're Democrats. I actually sit with my girls and we go over the brochure and we look at everything. I look at the record. And I also don't go by whether they're Latinos or not. That's irrelevant. And I think that in today's environment, the Republicans and the Democrats have distracted us from the real issues. And they have divided our communities. It saddens me that I see division in our community, the Asian community and the Latino community. That's why we're here. Another reason we're here is because some of us work really hard every day to make things better for our community, but some people don't until something happens. So we started Save for HA, as in Andrea and I. We are trying to organize Neighborhood Watch block by block, and sometimes we have to push people hard because they're like, no, I want to go home, and that's it, I don't want to get involved. But then later on I get a text message, and they say, guess what, somebody broke into my house, I'm ready. We shouldn't wait until that. I do the patrol already on my own, especially with the fireworks. I work together with the city ministry. I have a spreadsheet. People text me, send me emails, and they tell me exactly where the fireworks are going on. And I get in my car, I don't care what time it is, and I drive around. But I shouldn't have to be the only one. It is, Hacienda Heights doesn't belong to me, it belongs to all of us. So it's time for all of us to stop looking at our race, at our party lines, because at the end of the day, it's about our children, it's about our community. My girls are grown up, but this is my community. This is my community, and I will not allow anybody to bring it down. So I make a commitment to you. If you're ready to start a neighborhood watch, see me. I'll walk door to door with you and organize it, because I do that already. But you have to be willing to invest in our community. And so far, this room should be full of people. It's not. So I'm disappointed. So I would encourage each one of you to go back into your communities and start making them accountable for their community. It doesn't belong to the criminals. It belongs to us. But we need to wake up and do something about it. And I also want to commit to you that I don't care if you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat, because that shouldn't matter. Because we believe in the same thing. We believe in safety. We believe in family. We may have different roads to get there, but we believe in the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. What I want to say that you are a very informed voter, and then you need to speak out a lot more, and then to tell people, come back to comments. So that's why when we have this panel, we're crossing different parties, as Jonathan said. The reason why we can work together because we have a common interest, that is to serve you. We can forget, my party cannot tell me, Eric, do this and do that. I will not listen to them because, when we put our hand on the Bible, amen, when we took office, we sworn to protect you, to serve God, to serve our country. And that's our promise. And we will not break that. And then that's why you see there are very few of us willing to hold our values. So I think you can see that's why we're here today, to solve issues together. So thank you for your work. Anybody else?
No talk.
Who wants to go? Yeah, so thank you guys for being here and then sharing all these information. My name is Eric, and I'm also a resident of Hacienda Heights. And it's just befuddled these, like, why is homeless votes or homeless people, homeless lives, more important to politicians over law-abiding citizens and taxpayers and like middle class? Like they're abusing the middle class, us people. I don't care about race. Like Hacienda Heights is great, but now I agree with all of you guys. I'm more scared. I don't go outside at nighttime. I'm a tall male, but imagine my mom, right? And my question is like, why are homeless people more, this could be directed towards Jonathan. Maybe you're in the political climate more, right? You understand. But what caused that shift to where, what's that brainwashing going on? Like, why are homeless people more important than us, right? And then another small part to that is it because, why is Hacienda Heights targeted? Is it because we're not a city? Like what Eric is saying, with Walnut, right? There's actually leaders that actually protect us, right? But is it because we're not a city? And also, is it because it's more highly Asian population where we're a little bit targeted? Or, we're not fighting back, we're not making noise, right? That's a, kind of three-part question where I'm really mad about this going on. So, yeah, thank you.
So I think first it needs to be said, I think all of us if we can help people, we want to do that. I think there's not one person I know when I talk to them and say, hey, we don't want people to be homeless. I don't want people to be addicted to drugs. You know, I believe in recovery. So I want to help people. So I think all of us on the stage here, and I think all of us in the audience, in general, we want to help people. I don't want people to be out there in the homeless when it's cold and on drugs, and you know, those are tough conditions. And so, I mean, I believe in my community and I want people to be helped. I think the problem we had is there's a very small group of people who are very loud, who control politics here in Los Angeles. It is a very small group, they're incredibly loud, and they control most of us. And so what they do is they've decided that certain people's freedoms are more important than other people's freedoms. And like when I said that before, I have a big problem with that because I serve this country. And freedom is the most important thing we have in this country. So many people, like my father, so many people came here because of that. And right now, our freedoms are being assaulted. And that's the big issue with many people in the immigrant communities, many people in the Latino community, the AAPI community, the Persian community, the Armenian community. We came here to escape that. And now it seems like it's coming here. And so we all have to say, no, you may be loud, but we're the majority. And we want to raise our families here. We want to raise our children here. We want to be safe here. And so not one person's freedoms don't get to violate another person's freedoms. I think another big problem is we had a couple of Supreme Court cases regarding the homeless that have really handcuffed a lot of individuals. Those cases need to go up to the United States Supreme Court, in my opinion, and they need to be changed. They're not good cases for us. And what happened is certain cities have looked at those cases different than others. And whereas LA City has sort of determined that if we can't find a place for you and we don't have a place for you and we haven't told you we have a place for you, we can't move you. Whereas other cities have handled that issue a little bit differently. And so I think LA City has sort of failed in that area where some other cities haven't. But that court case, there's two of them, have really sort of changed the way that people deal with the situation with the homeless. And I think how you view that and how you enforce that is important. I think you should enforce, you know, camping overnight. Those are things that are illegal. And so what happened is there's a large group of crimes we just haven't even enforced, which we just decided not to do that. And so those things need to be enforced. We need a stronger DA. Because right now you can arrest whoever you want, but in 48 hours they're going to get released unless the DA charges them. So the DA has a lot of power. So yeah, it's these politicians. They listen. Like Eric said, you got to be loud. Like we've said here, you got to be loud. And a lot of times in our community we're not. We're like, okay, you know, that's okay. No, the small group is really loud. We got to be loud. We got to go to the Board of Supervisors meetings and be loud. We got to go to the City Council meetings and be loud. We got to go to the DA's office and be loud. Because it seems like the louder you are, those are the people that get heard. And so that's why our freedoms have been violated. Because we just sat back and did nothing. And that small little group went and were loud. And they got a lot of their things that they wanted. As far as Hacienda Heights, it seems like that they try to pick on cities that don't fight back. And you guys got to fight back. That's it. That's what you got to do. You have to empower yourself. Get out the 20 or 30 or 40 of you that are here. Each of you needs to go talk to 10 people and educate them in what we're talking about. And then they need to talk to 10 people. And then you need to go to city council meetings. You need to go to board of supervisors meetings. You also need to realize who you're voting for. Who you're voting for. If millions of people, and they did, vote for George Gascon, how did that happen? How did that happen?
There's no choices.
Right. So one thing could be that. So we need more people to step up. Problem is, politics is hard. It's a nasty business, and people are really mean. And so it takes a lot out of you. It takes away from your family and whatnot. But you're right. We need more people to step up and volunteer for politics. But it's a tough business, but you do. But that's everything. We need to say, oh, hey, this George Gascon, look what he did in San Francisco. He's coming out here to LA. I want to educate y'all. Look what happened. And look, he's here. Look what's happening. We're now, who would ever think that the DA would take office and in day one he would say, well, okay, there's 20 crimes we're just not going to prosecute anymore. No matter what. And it isn't crimes we can't prove. It's just he just wasn't going to do it. That's a total dereliction of your job. And it seemed like there was all these people who were leaders who were okay with that because nobody said anything. Nobody said a word about that. And that's the thing is we need to fight back. We need to say, no, your freedoms don't violate my freedoms. No, you can't take over a public restroom. No, you can't take over the beach. Remember this, we don't have that much green space here in Los Angeles. The green space isn't, the kids deserve parks. Children deserve parks. Not others that they get to put a camp there and then they get to use drugs there and then they get to do criminal stuff. Children deserve to have green space. Children deserve to go to the beach. Other people don't deserve those spaces. We all do. And the problem is a small group who are loud, we're able to control the rest of us because we sat back. We just said, okay, we're all good. And, I'm good to go. And so what's happening now is people are starting to realize, hey, this is bad. This is our community now. And there's too much crime. There's too much going on. And I think people have had enough. So I hope next year, March the 5th, 2024, the ballots will come out at the end of January. They'll get all sent to you. It gets sent to everybody. Ballots get sent to everybody. I hope all of you vote. Not only that, you all need to have ballot parties because it's legal. So what you need to do is invite all your friends over to your house. They need to bring their ballots with them and you need to all sit down together. And like you said, go over who are the candidates you want. Who are the candidates you think are the best that are going to represent you. And I think that's important. And if you feel like there's not enough good candidates, someone else needs to step up and run. So you need to bring out somebody in your community. Okay, Hacienda Heights, we need somebody to get up there and run. Okay, Walnut, we need to find somebody and then try to find somebody. But I will tell you, politics is tough. It's a nasty business. I mean, Eric and Jessica could tell you. Like you said, politics, they're trying to divide us. Realize this. They try to divide us with politics and with race. 24/7. They constantly try to get Republicans and Democrats to fight each other, and they constantly try to get races to fight each other. Be aware of that. Because remember, when it comes to public safety, we all deserve public safety. Every one of us. Doesn't matter what your race is, doesn't matter what your political party is, nobody deserves their house to be broken into. I fight for children. Children have no political party. And so that's what I tell people all the time. It's like, I don't look at people's political party. And so I think those things you said are right on, 100%. We need to try to unite each other, not divide each other. But yeah, it's a small group. They're really loud. Many of them don't represent us, but they're in charge now. And they were voted in, and they don't have our best interests at heart, so we need to vote them out next year. That's one thing. And as far as Hacienda Heights goes, I think that they pick on the cities that they think aren't going to fight back, and that's what they do. They do it up in Lancaster too, and in Palmdale as well. I can tell you. I know a lot of people up there, and so because nobody cares up there, so they just ship everything up there, and that's what they just do. And so those communities are fighting back as well. But yeah, smaller communities fight back. And here's the other thing: don't be disappointed if you don't think there's enough people here, because what happens is this is grassroots. Grassroots starts small, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I try to always look at the positive. If I reach even 5 people, I'm okay with that, because maybe those 5 people would talk to 50 other people, who would talk to 50 other people. So it starts somewhere. It starts small, and it's okay. But I hope that answers your questions. I know it's hard, because internally, we don't believe one person's freedom should violate another person's freedoms. Because this country's not like that. But we've allowed it to happen. And maybe not you or me personally, but I think because we don't vote or don't pay attention or don't get involved, because we feel, okay, we're okay about it. now these other people are running over us, and we now have to step up and fight back. We're sort of behind a little bit because we let these other people do this, and so now we gotta get people energized and get them involved and try to really explain to them how important it is to vote and how important it is to pick certain candidates to represent you and to represent your interests. And it doesn't matter about your political party. It doesn't matter about where you come from. It matters what type of person you are. If you're a good person, if you're not a good person. I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm going to answer you a very simple way, okay? The three questions you raised. The first one is because the first one was because something really doesn't make sense and is happening now. Just remember this, follow the money. So the politician never want to solve this homeless issue. It's the biggest money-making scheme. So you say, hey, how come, you want to solve this problem? Remember last year, the government has like a 12 billion budget allocated for homeless issue. So where did the money go? The homeless population soared. So you understand that they do not want to solve the problem because they are making money so much, everybody is just reaping the reward. So they are not solving the problem. So you, as a citizen, resident sitting here, is like, how come? They got all the money. So where did the money go? Okay, so that's one. The second one is why happening in the Asian community? Sad to say, the Asian, maybe because of their cultural background, they do not want to get involved. They do not want to get involved. This is, I'm here, I want to enjoy life, I want to build my family, send my kid to the best school. That's it. No, you have to play the American game. You are here, you have to play this game to fight back, to win back the community. We always talk about leaving behind something better for your second generation. Who is talking about that? Nobody now. Nobody is talking about that. And we are looking at the country is going down the hill. So we need to turn this around. And the third thing is because they picked Hacienda Heights, because Hacienda is not a city. So, in Walnut, we have mayor, city council member, speak for us. Here, nobody speaks for you. Except maybe, Hacienda, the HSIA, So, the people in Hacienda Heights lost this leverage because nobody can represent you. One party represent you and talk to them, hey, don't do this. Because the people are fighting back, the citizens are resenting this. You got to do a better job providing a better business plan, like David was saying, so that every corner, every question is being addressed before you get the permit to build this thing. So when May 4th, when we heard about this, we didn't even know they are going to change this into a permanent shelter. A lot of people, we're talking on the street, they heard it for the first time. People are busy making a living, they are ignorant of the political scene, the everyday news, so they didn't pay attention. And the politicians are making advantage of that. You don't pay attention, we're going to do this without your permission, okay?
Can I say something really quickly too? I know a problem for a lot of the people in Hacienda Heights. One of the inconveniences is that the LA County supervisors, they meet during the day when most of you are at work. So you really don't have the opportunity to go and make your voices heard. So I don't know if it would be possible for you to begin to lobby for them to actually change their hours so that people can be at their meetings and let your voices be heard. Because I will tell you, being on the city council, that when you have an angry group of people standing in the podium and the room's full of people and everyone has the same thing to say, everyone listens. Because if people took time out of their daily life to stand there in a boring city council meeting, then, they need to be paid attention to. And, I'm sorry for, everything I was hearing this gentleman in the back. We addressed the situation in our city of Whittier because of the homeless situation as it was affecting our population. Basically, what was happening is we had loitering in the streets. We couldn't take advantage of our city parks. Our children couldn't go to the parks or walk to the store. Why? Because we have homeless people out there and we didn't feel safe. One of the things that in putting in place our navigation center was that we actually came to an agreement with Judge Carter. And so he basically, we came to a settlement agreement in that if we had a certain amount of beds available for the homeless in our city, then we could, because of that, those laws or the lawsuits that you were talking about, we were not able up until that point to enforce our no loitering or no overnight camping or that kind of thing taking over the public sidewalks. Now that we have our navigation center, we are able to enforce those particular ordinances. We can tell people, sorry, you don't belong on the public sidewalk. You need to get out. You can't camp out here overnight. So we put those things in place. But this is the thing, as a community, you can still draw together, make those organizations work in your city. You need to come together. And whether it's you go together to school board meetings and you let your school board know how you feel, they'll pay attention if you go in force. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, Jonathan brought up a very important thing, a very small group of people. But often these very small group of people, they have lots of resources. By having, powerful friends or by their political donation, I've seen it quite often. So that's why they have more voice than you. So if you don't do anything, you don't voice, you don't contribute, or I'm not saying that you need to contribute, but I think the most important, you need to select somebody with servant heart. So I will prefer somebody with God, because then you have higher power to answer to when you're talking, making meetings in the back room. So I think that's very important. So we only have one question left because we want to respect the Great Commission Church. Want to thank you so much because they have people working here, and we really appreciate for allowing us to use your facility. So if I just one more question and then, okay, I guess.
He's been waiting.
Oh, I've been waiting, but that's okay. Some of you don't know me, some of you will. My name is Rich Gill, and I'm from Laverne. I've been dealing with the homeless issue for a bit, and I've actually started a group called LA County United. What we're noticing, not just in Laverne, San Dimas, Glendora, West Covina, and Hacienda Heights, is that the homeless issue has become a multi-million-dollar business. Works in Hacienda Heights, Jamboree in Claremont, and National Corps in Laverne, San Dimas are making money by building these multi-million-dollar facilities. In Laverne, San Dimas alone, a 53-unit facility is trying to be built on half a football field. We are trying to stop it now. If it is built, it is a single-bedroom unit. On the average, will cost the taxpayer over $700,000. That is insane. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Whittier because Alex Villanueva, if you don't know by now, has stated he is going to run against Janice Hahn. We know that Solis is termed out, but she will be in office for a bit longer. Mitchell will be up for election in 2024. Berger, or Catherine Barger, as many know her, will also be up for election in 2024. That's 3 seats that can be taken out. 3 seats that can make a change in the county. Right now, I have over 6,000 voters on my side. West Covina has joined my group, which will bring it up close to 7,000. We are going to make a change, and we will continue to grow, because there are that many people that want change. Now remember, this is not just a city or another city or a town. This is county-wide. 5 counties that will make a difference in 2024. And by God, we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a change. And if you want to see what's been done so far, you can watch them anytime you want. Just go and watch the straight line. We've been to Hacienda Heights. We've been to Claremont. And we've definitely had words with National Corps. Our goal is to help as many as we can. And we're going to do the best we can to make those adjustments. But yes, we understand that it is up to the voters to make those changes. And we know that going to city councils, and I definitely go to supervisors' offices, because Vicki Paul knows me on a one-to-one basis. So I'm just letting people know now that are here, it will definitely be up to you and to everybody that's with me and that wishes to join, that we will make a difference. And we will make changes.
I want to thank you for what you're doing. Again, not to brag about city of Walnut. In our city, we have 205% in reserve. That means if we don't have any 1 cent tax dollar coming in, we can run for 2 years. The reason why is this is not our money. It's people's money. We want to be responsible. So if you drive to Walnut, you will see no graffiti, no pothole, 205% in reserve, one of the safest, top 1% in school. Because you can hold them accountable. So let's all make them accountable. So thank you for being here, and I don't know if anybody wanted to chime in.
I want to say something really quick. Vote for this man. I know this is not about elections. You need to vote for this man. When you run for DA, and you need to vote for this man. He's running for the House of Representatives to represent this area. So
I vote for you, Jessica, too. My whole family and my friends vote for Jessica and Eric last time.
Okay, I am running for assembly, but these. Thank you. But it's so important, a volunteer to work for their campaigns. They need volunteers. I do too, but that I'm gonna put these two first before me. They need volunteers to go out there and talk to voters, to knock on doors as well. I know it's not supposed to be about campaign, but if you really want to change your community, you need to vote for people who are really going to go out there and make those changes. So, thank you.
What I like to add is that we're pretty transparent. You can check, back in our record and check the areas we serve to see if we qualify what we have done. And then not just, because when you see so many people, you just check, this seems to be a good name, let's just vote that person in. Oh yeah, I'm in the same party, vote that person. So what you said is very important. I do my homework. Every time when it comes to election, I would, ask around and then, ask organizations that have done their homework. So the only people that I don't know how to vote now is judges. I don't know too much about judges. But other person, you're the good person that we should to talk to, because they can also make impact to your lives. Like if they don't prosecute crime, right? If they make bad decisions, that will all impact us. With that said, right now we're getting close. If you want to talk to any one of us, we'll be outside for a little bit, but they do need to shut this down by 9 o'clock. And then our information, you can, I think we all have our websites. Yeah, so again, this is not a political, we didn't want to make it political, but I think even the air you breathe is controlled by policies. So with that said, I appreciate you for coming. Thank you.